What's going on, guys? In this video we're talking about Nightingale and going over their very in-depth question and answer session that they had on the Discord for this month of July. I'm not affiliated with them, but I do plan on covering this game on the channel. Going to kind of pivot over here and on DeathMonkeyXL Gaming to try to talk some more about Nightingale. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into these questions and answers. I'll have the link to the Discord in the description if you guys want to check out and join the Discord. And yeah, I'll try to also make these a bit bigger if you can't see them. So let's start off. They have these in nice categories for us, talking about some building. So the first question we have here is, the most recent gameplay trailer shows a Zeppelin near the end. What capabilities do you have planned for that vehicle? Will there be air combat from the airship? And if so, what will it look like? Very quick answer here says there will be airships in the game at early access launch, but not as player-facing vehicles, so you won't be able to do any PvP with them, but you will be able to use them. Question number 2 comes in regarding buildings and constructible furniture items. Do these recipes all serve a purpose, or are there going to be a lot of cosmetic only recipes? This is a big problem in other games of the genre if you are a feature first kind of person. Will furniture like beds and chairs be interactable to be able to physically sit, lie down to reward players that choose to invest resources in decorative and world building elements? And if so, will the AI companions be found interacting with them as well? So the answer for this is buildings will provide respite from bound attacks. As for the variety of building styles, right now the different styles are mostly cosmetic. As for furniture pieces, we're currently working out what functionalities we can implement in time for the early access launch. Next question, will you be able to pick back up your build pieces after them being placed, or is there like a timer? Currently, player-based placed pieces can be destroyed by you or your party members after they are built. This destruction will give some of the resource back for reuse, probably like half or something like that. A lot of times in games like this is just half of the resources returned. Next question is, can we edit existing structures or only build around them? We are working on this functionality for early access. So right now we can't edit any existing structures or build around them, but hopefully by the time early access comes around, that will be something that is able to be done. What can we expect from the crafting building system? Are there any specific games you took inspiration from in developing it? For inspiration, they get a lot from games in the genre and complementary genres. Rimwalkers will be given some basic recipes for crafting and schematics for building when they start, and will be able to discover new schematics by collecting certain materials, talking to NPCs, or completing quests. This is kind of interesting because I know in a lot of the realms it seems like they say you can be enemies or friends with some of the NPCs, so that might make that determination on whether or not what kind of recipes you get. So that would be kind of interesting to see going forward if that's how that plays out, and if people will be missing out on recipes because they decide to be enemies with certain factions. Will there be a recycle dismantling system for items crafted in the game? And it says currently you can dismantle build structures like crafting benches, walls. You can also destroy and repair crafted tools. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into combat. I know this is a big question. Combat is always important in like every game that involves combat, how it feels and what it's like. But we only have 2 questions here right now. Question 1 is, are there bosses that can only be fought as a group, or will it be possible to completely solo the game with enough preparation? And their answer is that their intention is that solo players will be able to play the entire game by themselves, but solo completionists will be in for a challenging experience. What will base defense look like, if any? It's asked by Dust the Viking. Sorry for people I didn't ask to put the names in, but answer is, as it is now, players can set up barricades or structures to keep out bound or other creature attacks. Players can then attack the bound from a safe distance using ranged weapons. This is something that's constantly evolving and will be showing more of in the future. Right now we're jumping into playtest. What percentage of people registered for the newsletter do you expect to allow into the beta? So it's really hard to say right now, especially since we haven't done our survey to get a better idea of computer specs yet. And then another question is unlikely, but any chance that invitations for playtest could include the option to invite a couple more people to co-op, as playing with friends is usually the most fun way of playing these kinds of games. Now, their answer is that this is something that they're considering as they prepare our playtesting surveys. So thanks for the reminder. We can't make any promises yet, but we'll see what's possible. That's always pretty cool when you are able to bring in a couple of extra people who may not be aware of the game, or who may not be aware that a playtest was going on, or maybe they didn't get a chance to get into it. And you can join them and make your content if you're a content creator, or just enjoy the game and look forward to it coming out for real. Servers. What happens when only part of a group goes to a new realm? Or do all players have to stay in one realm at a time? It's a good question. If we all have to stay in one realm, what happens when one group leaves the respite realm and then someone tries to log in that is in the respite realm? So they say players can choose whether or not to join their friends in other realms, so you can absolutely be split between different realms. As for someone else logging in, they will need to be given a party invite, and they will be able to choose as to who in your party they'd like to be teleported to. So that's cool. They come in late, they can just teleport directly to the party. It's a nice move. Will the world save data be hosted in the cloud such that any previous player can start the world when no one else is hosting? Or will the world save be tied to the original host and only be accessible via that player hosting? And yes, world save data is hosted in the cloud. The world save will be hosted by a specific player. Other players in your party will be able to continue playing if the host disconnects, but they won't be able to spin it up themselves. So what this sounds like is the host will be able to start the world, you'll be able to join it and still play if the host disconnects, but you won't be able to start that world back up until the host plays, which, if that's how it is, kind of sucks. I know people have kind of servers that are going on, or maybe you won't be able to. Yeah, that's kind of an odd question, odd answer. I'm not quite sure what they mean by they won't be able to spin it up themselves. Like, they won't be able to start that world if the host disconnects. Because, like, if we look at, like, Valorant, or not Valorant, Valheim and V-Rising, if the host isn't on, the person that made the server, you can still jump on into that server, into that world, and play along on that world. So I wonder if it'll be something like that, or if it just has to be the host. And then will they have their own? Oh, I guess is the next question's coming up. Like, will they have their own servers where you be able to jump on regardless of what's happening? So the question is, I know the details of the dedicated servers is still being worked on, but is there any info you can supply regarding them? Player caps, server specs. Right now we're looking at between 6 to 10 players in a realm. Much like PC specs, it's a little early for us to share other specific details as we're still experimenting with a bunch of things. Hopefully players will be able to make their own dedicated servers so that server can just stay online. Can players control access to the realm their estate is in, such that they can invite friends over and give them access to resources without leaving them out for just anyone to take? Players can invite people to visit their respite realm and kick people from their realm. We are investigating more specific access controls, but currently if you invite someone into your realm, they have total access to everything within it. Will characters be tied to specific games, servers, or will we be able to take them haunting around like in Terraria? Players can have multiple characters, and any one of those can join any other player realms once invited. That's kind of cool, I guess. You can having multiple characters is cool, and being able to jump between realms with your characters is also pretty cool. Let's go ahead and jump into the survival category. About death in general, how punishing are death in game? For example, if you die, do you spawn back in saved spot estate and drop your inventory on the spot you died, or do you lose partial or all of the inventory? Or do you not lose any of the inventory but lose hope bar instead? If you could grab the inventory that was dropped, would there be a timer to get back your inventory? So right now we have a fairly standard death system where players lose their full inventory on death and respawn at their respite spawn point. There are no timers to get your inventory back, and there are death markers to show where it is. Any buffs you may have had pre-death will also be removed, such as eating recently. So it's kind of similar to other games. You just go back to your spot. It didn't say if anybody else could pick up your stuff though, so that's kind of a question. I'm wondering, can somebody go and just grab your stuff for you, or just steal your stuff if you're on a server where everybody's kind of like against each other? Question, will environmental resources spawn, or will they be only available the one time after having been foraged? Trees cut down, herbs and plants picked, rocks or ores mined. Will there be ways to replenish resources such as farming, planting if they do not respawn? Most resources don't respawn naturally. The main way to get additional resources is to venture into further realms. Oh snap, so that is something that is different that we haven't really seen. A lot of times the stuff just kind of respawns after a couple of days, but if you cut down a tree and it doesn't come back, then you're going to be kind of stuck. That's kind of cool though. I can appreciate that. I mean, it doesn't look they're having like huge servers, so it's cool, and I'm not sure how many realms there are. I know there's quite a few, so it should be kind of interesting to see how that works out. What can I expect out of the hunger system? A split for food and water, different types of food providing certain buffs and nerfs to your character, food for specific situations, and is there a way the hunger system will be unique from other survival crafting games? As it is right now, going hungry will give you certain debuffs but will not kill you. As for other systems, we're experimenting with a few options and we'll detail them once we've made a decision. And now we're into the miscellaneous section that doesn't necessarily fit into any category. So people are asking, what will in-game look like? Their answer is, it is our ambition that there will always be something to do in-game. New realms to explore, new structures to build, new gear to craft, all in the spirit of the endless adventures. We'll have more to say about specifics later. As a dev, what was the trickiest part about designing Nightingale? Say we have so many cool ideas about picking, but picking which ones to prioritize is tough. It would take so much more time to make than people to think up. We're very excited about the universe and want to do so much, so questions and thoughts from the community are really valuable to help us prioritize and plan. How much and what kind of narrative are you going to build into the game? I'm a lore lover. Will this game have a deep lore? Nightingale is a gas lamp fantasy universe, so expect some mysticism and a darker tale of survival. Some of the narrative will be told through the environments, some of it through codex entries, and some of it will be through NPCs. We'll show this off more clearly closer to launch. Our narrative team has put a lot of work and thought into building the world of Nightingale, so we're excited to share it throughout development with you. Anything more about how using magic will work? What kind of type magic will be in the game? Like directional, fire, traps? The answer is, as humans lack innate magical abilities, spells need to be tethered to a weapon or tool crafted in the realms. But be warned, using the spells will use up some of the durability. We'll have additional details about how many spells are in and their natures closer to launch as they're still in development. Will Nightingale have mod support for a more customizable player experience? An example being custom building assets or armor skins. Modding support? We're still looking into this one. We'll have a definitive answer closer to the early access launch. Somebody didn't like that question as they put a flip off emote into the thing. I don't think there should be mod support for Nightingale unless it's just on like private servers. But I think having like armor skills and building assets, I think those should be already into the game. People should just kind of explore the game fully before they worry about putting in what they want to put into a game before they start doing that. Yeah, I'm not anti-mod, but I don't think that's something to be concerned with at the moment. Like, let's experience the game for what's in the game first before we start adding stuff. How in-depth will the settlement village building be? Will it have a size limitation? And about how much of the 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer area will the limit be if so? Can NPCs build for you via something like a project board as long as you provide the mats? Currently, players can build whatever they like, landscape and other natural features permitting. We are working hard to ensure performance is maintained even with very complex player built structures. I got like crackers in my mouth now. Let's see. Will there be plans for mounts, tamed animals, pets, or other forms of transportation fitting to the theme? How do you obtain a pet? Are pet mounts tames functional, mount cosmetic only, or combat assist capable? Will we be able to issue orders, stay, follow, attack, don't attack? Will there be a feature to tame creatures to our side? So you've hinted at befriending giants. Depending on how you play, what about animals and fantastical beasts? Could you become something like a beast tamer trainer? Will you be able to craft gear for them in turn like I've seen air balloons? Could you hook an animal up to a cart or carriage, perhaps a camping wagon? Pets and mounts are 2 different systems in our game. Pets have been prototyped, but we haven't moved them into production. Mounts have not been looked at to any significant degree. We love to have pets ready during early access. So there is another section here on the Discord with just some more frequently asked questions that they've had since they've announced the game. And we do have some of those here, so let's go ahead and just jump into those. We know what Nightingale, if you don't know, is a shared world survival crafting game set in a rich gaslamp Victorian fantasy setting. Players venture through portals where adventure and mystery awaits across a myriad of beautiful and increasingly dangerous worlds. As Nightingale will be able to play it solo or with friends. There's more details on it soon. What platform is it on? It's going to be on PC only. Will it work on Steam Deck? They're still confirming the details for it. When will it launch? They're trying to bring it to you in early access in fourth quarter 2022. So that's October, November, December. And how do I participate in the alpha beta test? It says sign up on the website, which is playnightingale.com, which will be in a link in the description as well. When will the alpha beta test happen? They're currently planning closed tests for quarter 3, 2022. So that's like in this period now, July, August, September will be your third quarter of the year if they're going just by yearly quarters and not business quarters, because those are a little bit different. Is Nightingale played in first person mode only? Currently, Nightingale is only played in first person mode. We're aware that a third person mode is a highly requested feature though. What languages will Nightingale be available in at early access launch? Currently, we've only confirmed English, but we will let you know of other localizations in the future. So a lot of people want to do that third person mode because it's character customization in the game and people want to be able to see what their clothes look like on their bodies. I can understand that. It's almost like this would be like something that allows you to see, maybe if you do an emote that zooms out and allows you to see what you look like. People just like to see what they look like, especially if they have the option to customize themselves. And that's going to be an issue too with Skull and Bones when that comes out, if it's just going to stay in that third person view. When people are on ships. What are realm cards? Realm cards are the main way realmwalkers open their portal network. They will be able to craft them based on materials they find in the environment and will be able to affect several things in the realm they travel to. You can read more about them here on the website. They have a post talking about the realm cards. How much will Nightingale cost? To be determined, but it's confirmed that there will be an initial purchase price and it's not going to be free to play. Will there be any microtransactions? We won't lock progression or gameplay behind paywalls, microtransactions. There may be cosmetic purchases, but we're still figuring that out and we'll have more details closer to the early access launch. So cosmetic purchases, I don't feel like if the game is going to stay in first person, if that's going to be a good move, because like I said, people like to see what their characters look like. So they make the game have a third person option. I can see cosmetic purchase being more of a thing. And that also kind of goes into with the mods. There may be a mod that make it third person, maybe. But as far as adding different outfits and suits and stuff like that, they mentioned different armor sets. If they want to have cosmetic purchases, then they wouldn't be able to really allow those mods to come in because the mods will just take away from cosmetic purchases. Will I be able to play Nightingale with a controller? Yes, we can't promise it will work on every custom controller, but it will work on the most standard controllers, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and Steam. Will there be dedicated servers? They're still hatching out the details. That was in the other questions and answers. So these are all the questions and answers that we have right now on the Discord. Like I said, I'll have a link to the Discord in the description below if you guys want to check it out. I'm pretty excited for Nightingale. I hope I'm able to get into this alpha beta that they have in this quarter or in third quarter, whatever quarter that ends up being, and to get some more information about it, because a lot of things they're saying sounds really good. The survival crafting nature of it, the more first person, the mysteriousness, the mythical beings that are involved in it. It all sounds really cool, and I can't wait to see it in action. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos for Nightingale. We're definitely going to cover this game more. I want to build the channel up. Let's go ahead and get those 500 subs. Like the video, share the video. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, peace.